What's going on, everybody? Thumbs up if you can see me, if you can hear me. How are you? What's up, Angel? What's up, Richard? What's up, Greg? We got Ronald in the house, John, Christy, Sandra. Come on, give me a smile. You're all in blue there. You're looking good. Renee, Farhan, what's up? We got Ian in the house. Turn these cameras on, folks. I got all dressed up for you. I just got off an incredible show talking with Mo Gauda about the future of AI. He said some scary things. He said some amazing things, but he also told us what we need to do to make sure we don't all get eliminated from the planet. Give me a thumbs up if anybody here has been a little bit worried about the approach of AI and if you're going to make it. Yes? Okay. Thank you, Elisa and Sandra, for your honesty. Good. Well, I'm going to talk a little bit about what Mo said to me. I'm also going to talk about what Elon Musk is doing because he's writing a letter saying we should pause AI, but he just bought 10,000 GPUs for his own AI. And I'll try to give you some sense as far as what's going on there. I want to play for you a piece of video that's hot off the presses of an AI expert that we just had on the show. And then I'm going to show you what we're doing behind the scenes to invest in AI. Because honestly, if you can't beat them, you want to join them. And so what we'd like to do is invest in the AI so we can create a benevolent AGI, which is artificial general intelligence. Has anyone ever heard that term, AGI? That's an AI that can actually think and reason and be almost like a human. And if we can train them properly, then when they grow up all big and strong, which is going to happen in 2 years, according to Mo Gauda, who is formerly the chief business officer of Google X. I mean, this guy's high level. He thinks we have 2 years until you're going to have artificial intelligence that's smarter than a human. And then he thinks by 2037, you're going to have artificial intelligence that's 1 billion times smarter than a human. Does everybody understand what that means? Just thumbs up if you do. All right, thank you, Christopher. Which means if Einstein is the smart one, that makes us a fly. That's the difference between that billion. And when that happens, kind of all bets are off because there's not a lot we can do to bring anything to the table, as my grandpa would say. So we just need to be ready for this. I want to talk about this. I want to answer questions. Before we get started, I need cameras on. And the last few chats, I've been throwing people out that don't turn the cameras on because I want to see your beautiful faces. So Kim Jobs, great face. Branislav, nice to see you, sir. I know we've been trading emails. Oh, Branislav, you're off again. I am going to throw a few people out if you don't let me see that beautiful face. If you're wearing a tie, you get bonus points. Anybody with a tie on? Okay, you can change and come back. By the way, women have worn ties before on these broadcasts. And so, look, turn cameras on. I'd like to see you. If you have any questions, put them in the chat. I was wondering if everybody could just type in the chat what city you're in right now. That would be the best, just to let you know. I am in London, so I'll give you that. This is a real background behind me that will get slowly dark as we talk here. I'm going to make this really fast. This is a presentation I've cooked up. Like I said, I've never shared this video trailer before. This is a brand new episode. No one's ever seen this, so you're going to see that. I've got a bunch of headlines. I've got some intelligence, and then I'm going to literally show you how we're investing in this technology. And I'm going to show you the hottest deal we've ever seen in artificial intelligence, one that we're probably going to put $1 million into in the next 2 weeks, because I think it's the only chance we have to create a benevolent AI. The ones we're seeing out there, has anybody played with ChatGPT or any of this open AI technology? Thumbs up if you have. That's a little dangerous, those, because those are going to be owned by Microsoft, and those are going to go and do one thing, which is make them much, much richer than they already are. That's not the kind of AI that's probably going to look out for humanity in the long run. Is everybody with me on this? All right. We have found the solution of how we can create an open source AI, one that doesn't get to be in the control of governments and militaries and corporations. And that's really what London Real is all about. And honestly, I was telling my team last night, because the COO of the company came on to speak to my investment club where we make all of our investments for London Real Ventures. And I said, I don't know if it's serendipity, the fact that this one company that we think will change the world happened to just come right to us and be perfectly aligned with our values. I don't know what it is, but we're going to go with it. So there you go. All right, last chance to turn cameras on. Martini, I'm throwing some people out. So Greg McCown, I'm sorry, buddy. If you got no camera on, I'm throwing you out. Oh, let me see here. All right, so you're gone. And Brian G, I'm throwing you out as well. I got to see these beautiful faces. So I'm going to throw a few people out. I hope you don't mind. But look, I'm just looking for people that can give me a little love here and show me some of the beautiful faces. So I've got a presentation. I've got videos. I want to hit you with as much information as I can about AI. And I want us to go on this amazing journey. Does that sound good to everybody here? Okay, good. All right, Martini, am I going to throw somebody out? No. All right, we'll go for now. We'll just keep an eye on everybody. So I'm going to share this screen. And I'm going to go with this presentation. Just give me thumbs up if you can see this. Just thumbs up. Can you see a picture of Elon looking like he just bought a bunch of GPUs? Okay, here we go. So I always say, don't listen to what people say, look at what they do, right? And so that's why I like to judge this. And why is Elon Musk buying thousands of GPUs? A GPU is a graphics processing unit, typically for video games, but we found that they're the best AI processors out there. And it's because of video game GPUs that we've had all this innovation in what we call LLMs, or large language models, which is what ChatGPT is based on. So I want to talk about what's happening in AI. Then I'm going to show you how I believe if we invest in the right artificial intelligence technology, not only can we create generational wealth, we can also alter the course of artificial intelligence to where we all survive as humans. Everybody ready with me? Everybody on the line with the same page? All right, let's go. I'm going to go fast here. So first of all, we've seen the headlines. This was yesterday, I think this came out. Elon Musk reportedly buys thousands of GPUs for Twitter AI project. We know that OpenAI has spent billions of dollars in computing power to create what I call these large language models. And if you don't know what's happening behind the scenes, they take everything we as humans have ever written or done in the history of humanity, and it basically ingests that. And once it sees everything that's going on there, it has a neural net that then creates what's going to be spit out on the other side. That's what's happening here. To do that, you need a lot of processing power, more than we've ever been able to have our fingers on. But once you have it, you can create some amazing results that look like they're human, even though all they're doing is regurgitating what they've read in the past. Does that make sense to everybody here? Is that somewhat clear? Just give me thumbs up if that makes sense. All right, good. I'll try to get into this as we go. What else? You also know that he's moving forward with a new generative AI project. Again, that's when they generate future outcomes based on what they studied in the past. And again, it looks like he might be doing it with the Twitter interface as well. So we know Elon's up to something. I'm actually a big fan of Elon. I like how he shakes things up. So I don't think this is a bad thing, but I want to know what he's doing. I want to watch it. We know he's now been told that he's secretly working on an AI project with DeepMind researchers. Has anyone heard that company before, DeepMind? Just put your hands up if you have. They're based in London. They were the famous company that created that AI model that first, I think, beat the chess champion, Garry Kasparov, and then beat the Go champion, which is that game made in China, which was considered the most complex game in the world. And then the AI that beat the Go champion, they created another AI that beat the first AI 1,000 to 0. This is how these AIs work. When they grow exponentially, okay? And so that's what's happening. So he hired a couple people. By the way, DeepMind was bought by the folks at Google a couple of years ago. So again, they're all kind of on that same page. Next thing is that ChatGPT personal AI can now be run locally. So there was an interview with Sam Altman of OpenAI a couple of weeks ago, and they said, well, what happens if this is used by bad actors? They said, we can turn it off. No problem, we'll just turn it off and you can't use it anymore. Well, guess what? Somebody took the ChatGPT and basically took it. It's a 4 gig piece of memory, and they put it on a computer separate from anything else, which means that it can't be controlled by any central entity anymore, which is why Musk said the singularity is near. And again, the singularity is pretty much when the computer becomes smarter than us humans and things start to happen that we cannot predict. We don't even know how to play the game because we don't even know what the new game is. Everything that we have expected to be normal and real in the world is no longer real. As in, financial markets don't work, your job isn't there, life as you know it is completely altered. By the way, my guest Mo Gaudat says that happens in 2 years. 2 years. They used to say 2029, or Ray Kurzweil said 2030. Now he's saying 2025. How many people here think he's right? 2025, when a computer becomes smarter. Okay, interesting. Not everybody, I get it. John Reed, Sandra, you think so? Frankie, you think so? Okay. I've been talking to a few other people. I'm going to show you them here. I think he's not far off. I think it's 2026, which is, it's frightening, honestly. And I got 2 young boys, so I'm really thinking about this. But I'm also being active and proactive, and I'll talk to you about what we're investing in as well. So what does Elon know? That's what I want to know. And Elon's usually ahead of the curve, right? Anybody heard of Tesla, Neuralink, PayPal, and now Twitter? He usually is a little ahead of the curve, so I'm following his lead, okay? So today I want to talk about why is he buying thousands of GPUs? And I want you to do three things. I want you to understand the trends. I want you to be able to identify the opportunities, and I want us to be able to make the investment. Because in my opinion, there's no other way we're going to be able to alter the future. Because none of us here work at Microsoft, I don't think. None of us are Elon Musk, but we can actually invest in technologies that are going to keep it open. And we don't need to have billions of dollars to change the world. Back in 2020, it was me in a studio that was actually going up against huge technology companies and huge pharmaceutical companies and really pissing them off. So I know what a few motivated people can do with a small amount of capital. It's amazing what you can do when you have a will, there is a way. Is everybody clear on that? Anybody follow me what I was doing in 2020? Got a little crazy. So let's jump into this. By the way, we are currently investing over $3 million this quarter into what we believe are three of the hottest deals right now. We have just invested in 3 deals on the previous quarter, and this is the way we think we can affect the most change. On top of this, I'm broadcasting, I'm teaching, and of course I travel the world and I speak to lots of people as well. This is the way we want to affect the future, and I'm going to show you how you can be involved. I also want to show you tonight what I'm calling the OpenAI killer. This is the deal we found that we think completely changes the game and also gets a better result than an OpenAI, which I'm a little worried is going to be used for bad reasons. So let's jump into it and get a little background. First of all, ChatGPT went to 100 million users 2 months after launch. Does everyone here recognize this is the fastest adoption of technology in human history by far? Right? Put your hands up if you know what I'm talking about, right? This is crazy. These numbers are unheardable. It went from 0 to 1 million users in 4 days. All right. So this is crazy. This alone should get your attention. Not to mention that the technology can teach itself to be better, and it's growing more exponentially than even the internet and mobile phones. All right. This is what we're dealing with here. Of course, the latest questions is, should we shut it down? So this article just appeared in the BBC recently, and we know there was a letter signed by over 1,000 of the top AI professionals, basically saying we should stop development for 6 months because this is so dangerous, right? I got thumbs down from Greg. I agree with you, Greg. And Mo Gaudet said the same thing. That's not the solution to stop this. There just is no solution. You cannot stop this technology because it's like whack-a-mole, right? Does everybody know that game, whack-a-mole? Right? You stop the OpenAI guys. Does anybody here think China's going to stop? Put your hands up if you think China's going to stop developing this. You think they are, Greg? They're not going to stop, right? The military is not going to stop. Somebody's going to do it. Some kid in a basement's going to do it. This is what we do as humans, right? We can't stop ourselves figuring out the puzzle. And these days, it doesn't take much more than a couple kids in the basement to make some changes here. So this is what they're saying. U.S. experts warn that AI is likely to kill off jobs and widen the wealth inequality. Put your hands up if you think that's probably true. We're going to see a lot of job losses on the back of this. Yeah. I had Ben Goertzel on the show recently, and he said there'll be 4 billion jobs lost. I was like, 4 billion then? He's like, yeah. I was like, well, even if it's 40 million, that rattles the economy, okay? Let alone 400 million, let alone 4 billion. So we need to be prepared for this. AI could automate 25% of all jobs. I spoke with an expert recently. He said, Brian, 50% of all jobs, 50% of all jobs can be done by 50% of jobs. That's why it's 25%. How many people agree that that's probably true in the next 2 years? That half of your job could be done by AI? Don't kid yourself. If even 1 in 2 of you says that, then that's what we have. So that's 2 billion people out of work effectively, right? That massively changes the world, massively, okay? That doesn't go over that smoothly, so we need to be aware of that. Of course, we know ChatGPT kicked off an arms race, and that's what this is, folks. This is like a nuclear arms race. Whoever gets there faster dominates. That's why no one's going to stop. And here's a quote from Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, who says, if you think you understand the impact of AI, you don't understand. And if you know that you don't understand, then you probably truly understand. How many people here think that you understand the impact of AI? Put your hands up. Anybody? Okay, it's a trick question. But then you don't understand, do you, Christy? You don't understand, Greg. If you really think that maybe I don't get this, or there's a lot I don't get, you're probably closer to the truth, because we just don't know what we don't know. We have no idea this new reality that's coming. It doesn't look anything like the last 100,000 years we had on this planet, nothing. And so we have to be prepared for the unprepared, which is very hard. Of course, President Biden said it could be a danger to society. We already know this is true. And by the way, it's way too late to do anything about it. As Mo Gaudet said, my guest, he said, Brian, he's like, this isn't the 11th hour. This is 2 minutes before midnight. He's like, this is the very end of this. Most of you today have already interacted with probably 5 to 8 different artificial intelligence technologies so far in your day. How many people understand and agree with me? You already have. You already have. From your driving to your browsing to your buying to what you've seen here and there, already AI has changed what you did today. So it's happening. And of course, Sam Altman said that either OpenAI, AI is going to either end the world as we know it or make tons of money, right? So there you go, right? And so look, it depends on what you want to do with this. Either way, we need to strap on for a crazy ride, but I think investing it is one of the ways that we can, first of all, have a future that we can deal with better, but also a way to control what actually happens in this space. So, well, how do we do it? First, we want to learn from the experts. That's the most important thing to do in this space. That's what I do here at London Real. I'm blessed to have a platform where I can get the best people in the world to come in and talk to me. You get to watch too, but I get the best education in the business. And so this is me speaking with Dr. Ben Goertzel. He's the CEO and chief scientist of Singularity Net. This was 4 years ago. I sat down with Ben. And he told me about this future of AI. And I was like, I kind of listened. And it was a little scary. But he said, look, Brian, Singularity 2029, 2045 is when they're basically 1 billion times smarter. And right now we're teaching them. What are we teaching AI to do right now? Does anyone know what we're teaching them how to do? We're teaching them how to sell you more garbage. We're teaching them how to get you to gamble. We're teaching them how to kill each other, right? And we're teaching them one other thing. It's not very good. It's like sell, kill, gamble, and then like one other thing that's like not the best. So do you think we're training these AIs to be in a good place? Not really, right? And he said that on the show, and I didn't think much about it. Let me just say in the last 3 months, I've been thinking a lot about Ben. Of course, his token, Singularity Net, is up 10x in the last 4 months. No surprise, but that's happening because they are leading the way when it comes to AGI. I luckily sat down with Ben recently, a couple months ago, and he gave me an update of what was happening with AI. And it's about a 2-minute video. I want to play this for you because it really brings you up to speed with where we're at right now with the technology. So this is Ben giving me an update of what's going to happen with AI, where we are right now. And it's a way that we can really see kind of what's happening here. So this has been here in studio about a month ago.
We are leaping into the great unknown, creating machines that are much smarter than us. This is either exciting or frightening or both, depending on your personality.
Will AI exterminate humanity?
Eliezer Yudkowsky, a decade or two ago, he said, the AI does not love you. The AI does not hate you, but it can use your atoms for something else. Actually, my view tends to be that AI is the greatest hope we have to save humanity from exterminating itself.
I don't think anyone in the world understands how this will be the most transformational time in human history.
I have a 5-year-old son, a 1-year-old daughter, and a 4-year-old granddaughter. By the time they're turned 18, the whole texture of human life and the nature of the world they grow up into is going to be incredibly different from the world that we see now. Like, they're never going to have to get jobs. On the whole, I'm an optimist. I have a spiritual or intuitive feeling that things are going to come out awesomely in the next 10 years. We're going to overcome material scarcity. We're going to create machines that can feed into our brains via brain-computer interfacing and help uplift human consciousness. And we're going to port into virtual worlds and achieve like states of intelligence and awareness going way beyond anything we can imagine now. So that's what the Captain Kirk in my head thinks. We're on the verge of engineered utopia. It's incredible. It's a remarkably weird and fortuitous thing to be living at such a time.
There we go. That's Ben Goertzel. Do we like Ben? Right? We kind of like his vibe, and we think he's got a pretty good version of humanity. And so it's nice to know that Ben has some ideas about where we're going, and this is going to be super relevant because I'm going to show you a few more things with Ben, including some other people that we spoke to in his company. Ben's takeaways are this: Google's dead. Web 2 companies are going to struggle to develop AGI, which is artificial general intelligence. He also says that nasty, selfish people are going to use narrow AI for their own greed and control of other people. Raise your hand if you know what I'm talking about, right? We're seeing that now, right? The chat GPTs of Microsoft. China's got their own version. 1000's does as well. They're all thinking, how can I use this to get maximum profits, take maximum market share, and probably oppress a lot of people as soon as possible. Unfortunately, our future AI, AGI people are going to learn from this behavior, and they're going to say, oh, is that how it works? Oh, we just dominate each other and squeeze them and try to get as much stuff. That's not necessarily the best thing. So Ben goes on to say the dominance of narrow AI will determine the pre-singularity, which just creates the singularity. So again, how do we teach these AIs now is what really matters. Mo Gaudet, I just got spent 2 hours talking to him. He said, Brian, we need to think about everything we do and how we treat each other right now, because they're going to pick up on that. And if they see a ray of hope, if they see something here about us, then they're going to learn from that and potentially want to keep us around. And he's not joking when he says that, and it's not naive. So our behavior now, he thinks, is the biggest thing we can do to influence them, because it's already a given they're going to become smarter than us. Whether it happens in 25 or 29 or 35 or 45, it's all going to happen in our lifetime. They're going to be 1 billion times smarter than us, which means none of you can do anything anywhere near as good as an AI. So why are you around? Why do we keep you around? For your good looks? Probably not. So we need to really start thinking about how we behave towards each other. And some of the things we're doing around the world right now probably aren't the best examples. So these are things to really think about going forward. And I'm having these conversations right now behind the scenes. Otherwise, he's going to say that governments are unlikely to make breakthroughs because they're too conservative and too stupid. I think he's right. AI will build the metaverse, something we're very involved with here at London Real behind the scenes. He finally says, will AI annihilate humanity and take over the universe? It's entirely possible. As Ben said, the AI doesn't hate you, it doesn't love you, but John Reed and Sandra Voigt, it might have a better use for your atoms. You guys okay with that? It's not personal, Sandra. Okay. So look, we should be aware. I'm not pessimistic. I'm trying to stay optimistic, and I'm just trying to stay aware more than anything. I was super fortunate to then on Tuesday have this incredible woman in my show, and that's this Janet Adams. She's the COO of Singularity Net, which is Ben's company. And she came in, rang the gong, and talked to me about this new project they're working on that's going to create the first AGI. And they're very aware of what's happening with OpenAI and these large language models, which I'll talk about shortly. But they're not focusing on this artificial general intelligence. They're focusing on that narrow AI. Just give me thumbs up. Do you all know what I'm talking about with narrow AI? It's an AI that solves this one particular problem. Like, it's really good at understanding large language models, and it'll predict the next piece of text, but it's never going to be smart enough or have any logic to create something or to become as smart as a human. It'll sound like a human, right? It'll act like a human. It can write poetry that it looks like a human, but all it really is doing is repeating what it's learned from the past. The folks over at Singularity Net have a solution that they believe will create an AGI that's aware, that is potentially actually so aware it doesn't do bad things like a narrow AI will. The problem with a narrow AI is if you tell it to go do something, it'll go do it because it can't really think. It's not necessarily sentient. And if you don't think these things are going to be sentient, you're wrong. And I didn't believe that either for a bit, but the more I talk to the experts, the more I think it's true. Can I get a poll here? Put your hands up if you think artificial intelligence will be sentient or conscious in the future. Not many hands, huh? Ooh, Sandra's up the curve. Okay. Angel, a little bit of you. Okay. I know it's the first reaction is no, they'll never be able to emote. But if you start to really think about what they prioritize, what their dynamics are, you'll soon start to realize that they can. So look, I want to play for you a video that's hot off the presses from Janet. Again, this is the second member from Singularity Net. I've never actually played this video for anybody, even at our team here. Martini, you haven't even seen this video, right? This thing's hot off the presses. Martini was on a call with Janet last night, so she got to meet her as she spoke with our group. We're going to be investing $1 million, probably more, in their company. This literally just came off the presses, so I'm going to share it for you now. Stay with me here 1 second. And oh yeah, okay, here we go. Let's see, here it is. Let me get the this. Yeah, this is it. Okay, boom. Okay, here we go. Give this a watch.
Artificial general intelligence is completely different to narrow AI. AGI is more purpose-driven.
Tell me about Zarka. This is the project that will create the AGI, and it's a supercharged, intelligent, neurosymbolic, large language model at massive scale. What is it?
Zarka is the accumulation of decades of research from teams containing the best artificial intelligence scientists in the world. We uniquely harness that expertise with our even more unique capabilities in neural symbolic techniques and the deeply advanced mathematics that Dr. Ben Goertzel, Dr. Matt Ickley, Dr. Alexei Potapov, and our top scientist, Sergei Shalyapin, have been working on for decades. We are building the most powerful large models ever invented.
With Zarka and Singularity Net and everything you've always done, it's always been about openness. It's always been about decentralization.
We'll be using blockchain technology to enable anybody to help train models. We're giving birth to a new species of sentient life in the universe. The actual greatest imperative is that they are used for good. The rich are getting richer, the poor are getting poorer. Our goal, our mission is to eradicate inequalities.
When I look at the rest of the market now, I don't see any of those motivations because a corporation, by definition, is going to be motivated by money. You're the only project that even is thinking in any way, shape, or form about these.
We are going to transform what it means to be human on our planet. I foresee a future in which humans then evolve to a next level of being where we are actually conscious, where we feel our full joy engulfed in bliss and ecstasy of the joy of living, the joy of each other. I see a future of joy.
Oh, hell yeah, give it up for Janet. Come on, right? Right? We feeling Janet? These are the kind of people I want to work with, all right? People that really believe in the future, that believe in an open source model, that believe in one that we can all use, that aren't going to try to hold it to try to, make some Wall Street quarterly estimate returns. And that's why we're huge fans of them. And I'm going to share with you a little bit more about that Zarka project shortly. But again, these are some of the thoughts that are happening. And this is stuff that maybe you don't read about in the news. But these people, between Ben and Janet and everybody at Singularity Net, they've been working on AGI for the past 10 years. Ben coined the term AGI, and he's been working on this for the last 30 years. So it's super exciting. And again, I trust these people's judgment because I trust their ethos, and I believe they're some of the smartest people out there. So let's dive a little bit deeper and understand this before I can show you how you can invest in it. So let's get a little more background here. By 2025, everyone is saying that 90% of online content can be generated by AI. Give me a thumbs up if you think that's true. 90% of your content, right? Did anybody just see there's a news presenter in Kuwait and she's completely artificial intelligence generated? The people prefer her over the normal humans, all right? There's a paper in the UK here, the Telegraph just printed their first AI generated article 2 weeks ago, right? There was a Joe Rogan podcast that was just launched 6 days ago. That's Joe interviewing Sam Altman from OpenAI, except it's completely artificial intelligence generated. And it sounds just like Joe. And it's literally ChatGPT speaking to ChatGPT with their voices. Has anyone seen that? That's crazy. That's happening now, not in 2025, right? I've already booked in the Brian AI. I'm taking the next decade off, right? So this is happening, folks. And I don't know what it means. Do we really want to plug in every day to read content created by AI? I don't know. But look at your feed in Instagram. Do you think you choose those stories? That's all AI driven. Do you think there's someone on Instagram that serves that feed up? That's all AI driven. So just something to think about. What else? Microsoft is beating Google at its own game. So Google is out. Microsoft is coming back with a vengeance, and they are not here to play. They're here to dominate. And it's payback time. Microsoft has been the ugly stepchild of Silicon Valley and the West Coast for the past 20 years. Does everybody know what I'm talking about, right? They had the old software that was used in your company. Come on, Outlook. It's kind of crappy, right? And now it's coming back with a vengeance. ChatGPT is going to kill search. It's going to open up a path to Web3. And we've seen investors seeking to profit from groundbreaking generative AI startups. And that's why we're investing as well. Microsoft confirmed a $10 billion investment in this technology. And now OpenAI is no longer open, right? It's no longer open source, and it's no longer a nonprofit organization, which is why Elon wants to get back in this race. He founded OpenAI back in the day, and now it's not one of those things anymore. Microsoft plans to build all these features into their product, and Satya Nadella is now shipping them in everything Microsoft related. So if you use Azure in the cloud, now you can incorporate it into everything you do. It's already in the Bing search engine. So this is happening. It's unplugged and plugged into the internet. It's pretty scary times. What did Satya say? I won't play the video from him, but what did he say? He said the Industrial Revolution took 250 years to propagate throughout the world. The internet took 30 years. The mobile phone took 15 years. AI will take months. Months. Again, Mo Gauda just said 2025 until it's smarter than us. That's crazy. Most people don't even realize this is happening. So today I want to talk about these three things. I want us to understand the trends a bit more. I want you to identify the opportunities, and I'm going to show you exactly how to make the investments. Very important. We have to be honest. AI is taking over industries like healthcare, finance, transportation. Guess what else is taking over? Law and computer programming. Has anyone seen it write computer code? Has anyone heard about that? It writes computer code. Legal documents, it can bang them out like nobody's business. These used to be the untouchable careers, right? What did your grandma tell you when you went to school? Be a lawyer or a doctor, right? Those are like second-class citizens. It's like get a real job, right? When I went to MIT, all the smart kids were computer science majors. They coded. They got paid millions of dollars after they left, right? Guess what? Those jobs are now at risk. We thought it was going to be taxi drivers. It's not right now. It's actually these high-level white-collar jobs. Like I said, nobody's safe in this new world. The rules have completely changed. There are no rules. And we have to get used to the fact that we don't know what's going to happen. This is what the curve looks like. It's going to be over 2 trillion by 2030. Every time I check this number again, it's going up and up and up and up. It's very possible that by 2026, there's no markets anymore, so maybe this stat won't even matter. Maybe the machines will all be doing something crazy. Maybe there is no stock market. Maybe there's no dollar. I don't know. So is this going to be relevant? I don't know, but we know it's growing exponentially. No surprise there. I was back at MIT last year. I took my daughter to go to Boston to look at some colleges, and I stopped by my alma mater, and I went to the Sloan School of Business where I studied finance. And I stopped and talked to some of my old professors, and they said, Brian, the AI productivity boom is coming. This is happening. I stopped by my fraternity house, which is full of 50 young men. And when I graduated, they were going to Wall Street like I did. They were going to management consulting, and the rest were going into computer science jobs, right? And they were going to make a lot of money. I asked these young men where they're going to school. Guess what they said? Anyone want to guess? AI and blockchain. That's it. So the talent's going there as well, because they know this is the future, maybe the only future. And of course, SiliconANGLE just said, no matter what job you have, your operation will be AI powered within 5 years. This is an old article, obviously, probably 2 or 3 years. And machines will be doing your job in the future, point blank. In a long enough timeline, there is nothing you can do better than an AI. Nothing. Nothing. So why are you here? What is your use? It's just something to think about. It's just something to think about. That's something to think about. So we just need to be aware and prepared. AI is going to greatly improve efficiencies and productivities, but it's going to drastically alter our workforce, population, society forever. Maybe there'll be a universal basic income, but I don't think it's that smart. How many people here think that's the solution, universal basic income? Anybody? No, some people aren't feeling it. Elisa? No, I don't either. I don't think it works that way. I don't think you could just give humans a check and say, don't worry about it, go hang out. I know most of the world isn't even able to process that concept. Now, maybe future generations will just be able to be, but I think this has massive, drastic implications. You thought it got crazy with riots and protests in 2020, man, that's nothing compared to what could happen. So we just, again, need to be prepared. I'm not about a doomsday scenario. I'm super optimistic, but I'm also about being proactive. And so that's why I'm talking to everybody I can right now. I'm going crazy on this lately, including the investment, which I'll talk about. So this is the year. And again, I always believe what's worth doing is worth doing to create wealth. I actually don't believe you can do something effectively if there's not a wealth component. That's what I truly believe. A lot of people I've met in their lives, they want to do things, but when you put wealth in it, they say, oh no, it has to be a charity. Guess what? Charities don't work. They don't get things done. What works is when there's a profit motive because it actually expands it. So some people say, oh, Jeff Bezos is worth $200 billion. He doesn't deserve it. I don't agree. He created so much value for so many people that he built a business that changed the world. Would Amazon have worked as a charity? Anybody think it would have? No. Would Tesla have worked as a charity? No. The only way he was able to do that is because it was a for-profit company. I believe the same about AI. The way that Singularity Net is going to win with Zarka is it because it's a better product. And that's why it's going to beat OpenAI. It's also going to be better from an ethical standpoint too. And that's how it's going to win. But it's not going to win because we really hope it's going to win. That's not going to cut the mustard. So I'm very realistic, but I also know if we do everything right, not only can we change the world, not only can we implement amazing technology, but we can all create massive wealth at the same time. That's the only way it happens. And if you've got a problem with that, I would encourage you to re-examine all of your hangups with money, because it comes from all of our upbringing in society. That's another Zoom call, all right? So what do you want to do if you want to get across this? You have to invest with the best, period. There's no other way to do this, right? This is a story of my life. I only have the best in my life. So when it comes to the best mentors, I have the $1 trillion man. When it comes to the best coaches, I get Olympic athletes to coach me. When it comes to anything, I always get the best. Why? It saves time. And we don't have any time left here, folks. So that's what I do. And that's why I created London Real Ventures. And some of you know about this, some of you don't, but 2 years ago, we started investing in companies here at London Real. The reason we're able to see the best deals in the world, including the one I just showed you, is because we bring something to the table that venture capital firms don't bring. We bring cash. Like I said, we're investing $3 million right now. We also bring my media platform, right? I've got 5 million subscribers. I got 1 billion views. I can bring you customers. I can create a piece of video that's beautiful, if I do say so myself, right? Look what we just did with Janet. She came here for 3 hours and now the world sees her vision. We can give you customers. We can give you cash flow. I can get you future investments. I can get you hired the best people in the world, right? So people are coming to us. What I do is I pass the deal flow on to London Realers. And that's how people like you can get involved in a deal that normally you'd have no chance of even knowing it's happening. Does that make sense a little bit for people here? By the way, we're doing this right now inside my investment club. And that's why we had the private call last night with Janet and her team and her chief scientist as well. So we're doing this. I'll play one of my trailers recently, but these are the bunch of the companies we've recently invested in. So what do? We identify the best opportunities. We're looking at tons of pitch decks. I've gone through most of these companies to see if they're worth investing in. The problem is that a lot of companies out there, they're just ChatGPT copycats or they're plugins. There's nothing new there. There's nothing that's going to change the world. The Singularity Net Zarka project is going to change the world. It's the only thing I've seen that's a game changer. And it's the one thing we can invest in right now. So that's why we're all over this. Again, we've seen a few tokens pop. These are some blockchain pieces that have been on there. So Cortex went up 2x on the back of ChatGPT. And also Fetch AI went up 3x. But what I'm looking for when I invest, I don't want a 3x return. I want a 300x return. Does anybody here want a 300x return on their money? Come on. You put $10,000 in, you get 3 million out. These are the returns I like to look at. It's called asymmetric return investing. There's only one way to do it, and I'm going to show you how. Let's be honest, folks. We don't have time to wait around. We don't have time to wait for our pensions to be paid out with these useless stocks that go 3% a year. Even 3x isn't going to change the game, folks. We need asymmetric returns. Does anyone want to see how to get them? Raise your hand if you want to see. Yeah? Martini, if their hands aren't up, throw them out. All right, let's go. Deal flow, deal flow, deal flow. This is how you do it. First of all, you have to know every deal that's going on the planet to be able to choose something like the one I'm going to show you. How do you do that? You hit the road, Jack. So this is me in Dubai in October last year, hanging out with crypto influencers, hanging out with some of the local Emirates, interviewing them on the show, hanging out with top level venture capital. Then I'm off to Paris. I'm getting interviewed for documentary films. I'm in private dinners. I'm doing broadcasting. I'm meeting some of the best in the business, as well as some of our portfolio companies who you'll see featured in the upper right. That's Swissborg and Cross the Ages. We've made 6-figure investments in both of those. Then I'm off to London to represent at Token 2049. I'm speaking with Yatsu of Animoca Brands. He is the king of the open metaverse. That's him in the bottom right on my show. That's me at the conference with him, on the show with him in the upper left. And I'm hanging out with portfolio companies and influencers. And in the bottom left, I'm hanging out with the alpacas. Because let's be honest, folks, if the AI is against us, we might need any friend we can have, right? Plus, I can always eat them for dinner, right? So there you go, just diversifying, all right? And then, of course, I was in Paris about a week ago, hanging out at the Blockchain Summit, and I'm connecting with former guests. That's Tim Draper here in the middle, most legendary Silicon Valley investor. I'm there in front of the Louvre. I'm hanging out with people like Dan Tapiero of 10T Holdings. That's Sebastian Bourget from the Sandbox. And of course, on the bottom right is Cyrus Fazell from Swissborg, one of our investments as well. So I am constantly pressing the flesh to bring the best deals back to you. That's what we're doing here. Next, you have to understand the financial tools. And I'm going to go through this quickly, but pay attention because this is how you can get massive, massive returns like 300x, 500x, 1000x, and even more. And I'll show you how. If you understand the financial tools, you can get the returns. If you don't, you can't. So early stage artificial intelligence is the hottest opportunity in 2023. Why? Why, you say? Why early stage? It's simple. You buy at low valuation. You see the biggest gains, and you invest in the biggest dislocation of wealth in human history, which is happening right now, folks. It's very high risk. I'm not going to lie to you, Sandra. It's high risk, but it's high reward. And we think the reward outweighs the risk. I'm not saying you put all your portfolio in here. Matter of fact, I don't give financial advice. But if I was, you would put a small percentage. It only takes one of these deals to change the game. And you don't need to put a lot of money in there for asymmetric investments. So what's early stage funding? Raise your hand if you know what early stage funding is, or if you've ever done any of these investments. Okay, a few people. Who's that? So we got Frankie, John Reed, Greg. Okay. It's simple. Look, the folks on Wall Street, I worked on Wall Street for 15 years. They want to make it complicated because they don't want you to know this stuff, right? This is only for accredited investors, which means rich people get to be richer, not people like you. But it's not complicated. Early stage funding is in 3 levels. There's seed funding, startup funding, early growth funding. Seed funding is when you have an idea. You don't even necessarily have a company yet, but you have an idea. This was London Real 12 years ago. I had a dream. I was like Martin Luther King. I got a dream. I have a dream that one day I'll have 1 billion views. I have a dream, right? I needed some seed funding. Luckily, I had some savings I got from the bank, some bonuses. So I funded myself. This is seed funding. Startup funding is when you're trying to get those first 10 customers, right? So you're trying to just hustle to create that first cash flow. And early growth funding is getting that first, say, 1,000 customers. In each one of these instances, the company is losing money. Is that clear to everybody here? It's not profitable at this point, right? Otherwise, why would they want your money? Why would they ever give you a piece of their company if it's making money? So you have to bet on something with a future of it making money, and that's how you can make those returns. Who wants to see an example of this at its finest? Maybe you've never been told this story before. Here we go. Classic example. Raise your hand if you know one of these 2 gentlemen or both. You know these people? You know this brand? Come on. I know you all have Facebook accounts. Bunch of sellout. It's okay. Meta, sorry, Meta. Meta, John, that's what you call it. That's cool. So how did Peter Thiel turn $500,000 into $1 billion? This Peter Thiel on the right is an incredible investor, legendary. Mark Zuckerberg on the left. How did he do it? Let's go through it really quickly. Back in 2004, Peter Thiel put $500,000 into Facebook via early stage equity private placement. He bought 5% of the company with $500,000 for 10 million of a 10 million valuation. Does that make sense, folks? He put $500,000 in, values the company at 10 million. He got 5% of the company. If he had put $1 million in, 1 million is 10% of 10 million. He would have got 10% of the company. Does that make sense, folks? Not that complicated. You put a certain amount of money in, and based on the valuation of the company, you get X% of that company. What happens? 8 years later, 2012, Facebook goes public, right? They sell shares now to you. Now, John, you can buy the shares. And Sandra, you can buy the shares. Angel, now you can buy the shares, right? But you don't get to buy them at a 10 million valuation. You have to buy them at a $100 billion valuation. So they sell them to the public, right? Why? Because the kindness of their hearts? No, because Peter wants to take his profits. That's why he's selling them to you suckers. I mean, sorry, shareholders, right? So they sell them to the public. What happens when they sell the shares to the public, by the way? The stock price drops for the next year. Funny how that works. But Peter Thiel, he makes a 2,300x return on his investment. That's a 230,000% return. I started on Wall Street in 1993. I worked in Chicago. I worked in New York City. I worked in London. at the highest levels of international finance and derivatives markets. I never once met anybody that made a 2300x return. This is unheard of, unheard of. And the stock price dropped after the public got their hands on it. What do you learn from this? What do you learn? The rich get richer with deal flow. And a simple $10,000 would have made $23 million investment. How many people wish they would have put that in there in 04? Come on. What, are you saying you didn't get the call, Angel? Richard, you didn't get the phone call in 2004? No, me neither. Why? Because the rich get richer with deal flow, right? You needed a private banker or you had to be an accredited investor to get this look, and you didn't get it because you didn't even know this was happening. And this is the way this works in Wall Street, right? The rich get richer. And guess what happens when they sell something to the public? The public markets are for suckers. If you can go buy a share of Tesla right now, or you can go buy a Bitcoin for $31,000 on an exchange, guess what? You're too late. People like Peter Thiel are laughing because you are giving him his profits. So anytime somebody on Wall Street wants to sell you something as a retail investor, guess what? All the profits are out of that trade. Is that clear to everybody? All right. I know because I work there. So, but you can see how much money there is to be made. It just takes one. Imagine if you put $10,000 on one of these deals, it would change the game. Now, maybe it's not enough for you to retire on, Sandra. You look like you have some expensive taste, but you can at least get a nicer boat, or maybe you get the house, 2 houses. Maybe you still have to keep working, but you know, it's something. So this is what happens with early stage, but it also happens in crypto. How many people here own crypto? Just put your hands up if you have some Ethereum or some Bitcoin or good. This happens in crypto too. Let me show you a quick example. It's called a pre-sale token. Anybody here ever bought a pre-sale token in crypto? A couple, not many though. So you sell the tokens at a pre-approved price before they go public. Let me give you an example. Anybody know this token, Solana? Raise your hand if you have some or if you've heard of it. Come on, I know you've heard of it. Well, guess what? They had a pre-sale back in 2018. Look at the price. Can you see that price in a red circle? 4 cents. 4 cents you can buy those tokens. Move over to the right. What do you see? They sold 79 million tokens and they raised $3.17 million, didn't they? By the way, this is all on the blockchain. You can go check it yourself. What happens? That was in 2018. What happened today? It's worth $23. You could have made a 59,000% return. Who here owns some Solana? Was that Pohare Morris? Is that you? Did you buy it at 4 cents? Anybody buy Solana at 4 cents, Christy? Did you get on the 4 cents action? No, you didn't. You didn't get the look because you weren't on the inside. So you probably bought it. You probably bought it at 80 bucks when it was rallying, right? Of course, that's when most people buy, when they hear about it. And the rich get richer with deal flow. So you need to know how this works. If you take this and match it with AI, that's where you're going to get the massive returns. Is this making a little more sense to everybody here? So let me show you how we do it. So first of all, you have to understand the deals. So we look at a deal, we look at the 5 T's. I just want to give you a little free education here before I show you the deals themselves. We use the 5 T's: team, traction, technology, threats, and trends. This is how we evaluate the project, so we know how to invest in them. And let's look at one we're all familiar with, OpenAI. Look at the team. Sam Altman on the left, successful entrepreneur on Silicon Valley, president of Y Combinator, one of the biggest incubators in the world. He made hundreds of millions of dollars with them. Who else founded it? Elon Musk did. We know Elon. He's been busy, right? Centibillionaire, SpaceX, Neuralink, PayPal, Twitter, the list goes on and on and on and on. Okay? So super successful people. They're really good at what they do. And that's currently everything with that's what it's all about. What else? Traction. How quickly did it get users? Well, look at this graph. Look at these companies. Anyone ever use Netflix here? Come on, I know some of you like a little Netflix, right? 0 to 1 million users, 3.5 years. Airbnb, 2.5 years. Instagram, 2.5 months. ChatGPT, it's actually 4 days. So we know this has traction. What else? The fastest adoption in technology in human history. What else? How is the technology? I asked OpenAI why artificial intelligence is the most exciting opportunity in 2023, and it answered my own question. So this is clearly good technology. And of course, what are some of the threats? Well, we know it's high operating costs right now. We know there's potentially some regulation coming down the pipe, shortage of talent. This is how we evaluate these protocols. When we do this right, we can pick winners right away. And of course, we know the trends are going up. This is going to be a massive market. So this is what we spend our time doing, but it only works when we pull the trigger. And that's what we've been doing lately with London Real Estate and my investment club. How do we do it? We look through pitch decks. So every single week, a CEO comes on our call. We have one tonight. It was Janet. They show us a pitch deck. These are a bunch of screenshots from the pitch decks we have. We've looked at, I think, over 200 pitch decks now inside the club. We look at them to evaluate them to find the next hot company. We do the 5 T's. If we think they're good enough, we get them on the call. I give them a grilling. I think the team just loves to see me grill people. They have a sadistic sense about them. We see if the CEOs can ask hard questions. If they can, we take it to the next step. We have a monitor. We track every single aspect of the deal. We track the blockchain it's on, if it's a crypto deal. We track if it's an equity investment, if it's a token investment, how much they're looking to raise, what the valuation is. We're constantly looking at these deals. This is our deal flow monitor. And again, we've got 3 hot deals that we're putting $3 million to right now in this quarter. By the way, this is our most recent deal, Orange Comet. Incredible what they're doing, right? They're building metaverses. They're building the most incredible digital collectibles. They're doing partnerships with Sir Anthony Hopkins, Scottie Pippen of the Chicago Bulls, the NFL, major movie franchises. And they're selling these things out in 77 seconds, in 7 minutes. And I recently had Dave Broom, the CEO. We put $600,000 in this company about a month ago. And I had Dave Broom on the show. This is what we do when we invest in your company. And this is why we're seeing the craziest deals in the world. And by the way, this is going to show you a bit of what we do here behind the scenes. So when we invest in your company, not only do we give the cash, we put this video out there and this takes you global. So watch, this is Dave Broom and this is what we do inside London Real Ventures.
I never felt like I've left the entertainment industry and moving to Web3. I feel like I'm one that is trying to redefine it. If I don't sit there and go, that's it, man, that is fucking it. It's not walking out the door. If you feel great and you think you've done everything you possibly can, then you leave it to the world to determine if it's going to be successful or not. And that's what we're doing in Web3. We've been told, the movie studios to the Web3 industry itself, that there is no company in the world like Orange Comet now. We're looking to be a multi-billion-dollar publicly traded company. Period, end of story.
I haven't seen anybody coming through Web3 the way you guys do it.
We got involved in an amazing project with a British boy. His name is Joe Whale. I think I have the opportunity with Joe to make the next Pixar type movie, and all off of the mind and the work of a wonderful 13-year-old artist.
How do you find the bandwidth to do all these damn projects?
If I set out to do something, I get it done. And I'm not gonna fail here. There's no fucking way I'm gonna fail. I don't feel like I've reached my potential, and that's what's driving me. Tell kids and even grad students, they've gotta find something that they believe in, first and foremost. You know, people say, passion's bullshit. No, it's not. It's not. It drives everything. It just does, man. Once you make that decision to do something and pursue something, and you gotta go, or you gotta get out. You don't know what tomorrow holds. Don't you wanna try and live out your potential, find the happiness? We need to find inside of each of us what ultimately is going to make us happy, and try and pursue that.
Can you guys feel the energy of Dave, right? This guy's motivated. Does anyone think he's going to win? He's probably going to win, right? So like when he first came on our call, literally he was on our call like 2-3 months ago, and he came on and blew away the whole team, and everybody wanted to throw money in. They were like, let's do it, let's do it, let's do it. We had him on. We think they're going to be the next multi-billion-dollar company. They're planning to go public next year, and it's just going to be crazy. So we invest in people. We invest in energy. We did our traction, our due diligence. We know some of the other investors. We kicked the tires, and now we're all in. We're major partners with them now. It's really exciting. It's also a lot of fun to be with these really exciting people that have exciting visions of the future. It's actually incredible. So that's the kind of thing that we do. We're very careful with our investments, but when we make it, we go all in on them. We've also just recently invested in Swissborg, which is the #1 crypto wealth manager in Europe. They have amazing technology. They got 1 million users on their mobile phone app, which is pretty much unheard of. They want to basically build what you see here, which is the bank of the future. They want to be the NASDAQ of the blockchain. This investment is also strategic for us because it will help us maybe list our future tokens and equity of our companies when we want to take them public. I love the guys at Swissborg. They've been partners. They've been on the show for the past 2 years. I know Cyrus. I know Alex, the brothers that created this company. I've met their CTO out in Dubai. They're very London real. Everything about them is congruent. And by the way, they made it through the crypto nonsense completely unscathed because they've always done everything by the book. So one of our other partners. And we just closed a deal with Vadim where we put in 600,000 there as well. This is amazing. This is really bringing the metaverse to most brands. And they're working with companies like Google, with PepsiCo, with Frito-Lay, with Slack, with Verizon, with Intel, with Procter & Gamble, all these companies. And they're doing amazing things. Their CEO is going to be here in the leather chair in early May, and we're going to blow that company up as well. So we're really strategically pricing some amazing bets in Web3, in crypto, in metaverse, in gaming, and in decentralized finance. And we couldn't be more excited about what the future is. I've got videos and things about all of these companies, but I'll just keep it moving because I want to show you what I believe is the hottest artificial intelligence project in the world. And look, if we're really honest, folks, it could be one of the last ones that ever you can invest in. And Janet was here, and after the show, she said, Brian, we might be building the last GPU hardware setup for artificial intelligence built by humans. And it was a really interesting moment because it's like the ones after that will be built by machines. I mean, we really are at a pivotal moment right now. And for us, this is the only project we're probably going to invest in. We've seen a lot of nonsense out there, folks. There's a lot of copycats. There's a lot of plugins. There's a lot of BS. There's a lot of stupid valuations. This is none of that. This is the real deal. And this is Zarka, what I'm calling the open AI killer. This is a few details about it. It's a supercharged, intelligent, neurosymbolic, large language model from SingularityNet, who are the best in the business at massive scale. You know the team. It's Janet Adams, who's been on the show. On the right is Dr. Ben Grutzel, and on the left is Sergey, who was on the call last night. Extremely intelligent. These folks have been working on AI for the last 10 years. These folks don't want to work for Microsoft, by the way. They don't want to work for Google, by the way. They don't want to create a narrow AI that's going to go kill people and try to sell you more garbage you don't need. The real OGs in this space want to create the next human level intelligence that's going to do good for this world. Does that make sense for everybody here? This is such an important point. You know, the people you want actually want to work on the projects that are going to be the ones that could potentially save the planet, right? And that's what these folks are going to build. So again, what do? They recognize the opportunity. We've had a ChatGPT moment. Everyone is now noticing this is going to change the world. So they're taking that momentum and awareness to now fund this project and take them to the next level. The problem with today's LLMs, and that's short for large language model, is this, and you can look at my circles in red. They have no ability to reason in complex real world environments. They can't process a new environment. All they can do is repeat based on what they've learned in the past. Is that clear, right? That's what LLMs do. They study everything we've ever written, and then they predict future writing. But it's not very good at actually having reason. LLMs don't know when they're wrong. That's the other problem. So they could be out there exterminating humans and they don't know any better because they're like, well, you told me to clean up. And we're like, yeah, okay, but we thought you would have thought maybe this isn't the smartest thing to do. That's the problem. They don't know when they're wrong. So they're more dangerous than an AGI. And I'll get into that. LLMs, they memorize instead of thinking, and that's a problem, okay? The other thing in the middle is they're a black box in the middle. You don't even know why they do what they do. That's the problem with ChatGPT. If you ask Sam Altman why it does that, he was like, I don't know. That's the way it learned. It doesn't tell us why. It just spits out answers, and we say yes or no. We have no idea why or how to even alter it or change it, which makes it also scary. The solution is this. Neurosymbolic AI, they've been working on for the past 10 years at SingularityNet, okay? They can meta reason beyond the experience learned from training data, right? They provide strong logical reasoning based on dynamically updated world models. I'm reading off from the circles here, okay? They don't simply repeat patterns of the past. They're genuinely intelligent and creative and capable of processing distilled knowledge. These are the kind of AIs we want in the future because they'll think deeply before they make decisions. Like I said, a narrow AI has one KPI, go clean up the world. It comes back, I just killed half the world. No. Didn't you think first? No, we just did what you said. This is what we need to do. Again, it's got explosive potential. It'll disrupt every single industry, and it escapes the monopoly practices we see right now. Who owns AI right now? IBM, Microsoft / OpenAI, Amazon, Tencent in China. This is who we're fighting with here, and that's not the future that we want. So they have a super smart contract ecosystem. They've been on the blockchain for 4 years. They also have a way to get a diverse, inclusive, global user base that's going to contribute to the training of AI. We really want that, right? And we really want to democratize access to this platform. That's what Zarka is going to do. This is their roadmap. They're raising money right now. They're going to do proof of concept by the end of the year. Next year, they're going to raise a chunk more money. And then they're going to basically have products out to market by Jan 25, just in time for the singularity. This is the only viable alternative to OpenAI that I've ever seen. It's also the only one that aligns with our values here at London Real. Our mission statement here is to create a mass scale transformation of humanity into a fully empowered, conscious, and cooperative species. That's what we're here for. This aligns perfectly. It's almost as if this deal was sent down from the gods. Maybe it was. Couple other things. The USP or unique selling proposition is that the folks here, they have AGI supremacy. Dr. Ben Goertzel is the world leader here, right? He's established a global team and they all want to work with him. They never leave Ben, okay? They have vast experience with generative AI because they've created these robots. Anyone ever seen these robots? They're like Sophie and Desdemona and Grace. They got a lot of experience here. What they need is capital and backing and some media is what we'll do and get them to the next level. They're projecting revenues of ridiculous amounts, like 55 billion over the next 6 years. I mean, the money here is just ridiculous. I mean, you easily can see this could probably be a 2000x as easy as what this kind of investment would be. So this is me and Janet. On top of all that, like, these are nice people. These are good people. They have good hearts, you know, and that's who you want to be in business with, in my opinion, especially when they're dealing with the technology that can literally exterminate the world. So that's what this is all about. I'll be dropping the full episode with Janet probably next week, but we've actually held the episode. You're the only ones to ever see any footage of that interview so far. And my question for you, is this the next 1000x return investment? What do you think? Very possible, isn't it? Anyone here think it might be? It's the closest thing I've seen yet. It was probably one of those. It's 1,000 or it's 2,000. Again, simple valuation. Take a 10x revenue number on a company. If you do that, the company's worth 600 billion. You buy in at 250 million. That's 2000x. You might make more than Peter Thiel. Maybe you can buy his house in San Francisco, right? Who knows? I believe if you're not invested in AI, all of your other investments might become worthless in the future. Think about that. So it might not even matter what's happened up till now. It's who is invested in AI might rule the future, because everything else could go to zero. The right AI might make a certain market zero. They used to say when we found cold fusion, oil goes to zero because it's useless. Well, what happens when AI happens? What other markets go to zero because they're useless? Does your real estate go to zero? I was thinking about that the other day. What if you have real estate in London, right? Considered a safe investment. What if the population, half of it becomes unemployed and half of it gets exterminated? Is your real estate worth anything anymore? It's a good question, isn't it? I don't know. Sorry about the extermination stuff. I was just saying. So that's why we're here. We're active. And that's why London Real Ventures is super busy. I'm basically 24/7 working on this right now. Luckily, we've got an amazing group of 60 people who are in this club who are helping us do this. So again, how do you learn how to invest? You surround yourself with the best. And that's what we do inside my club. So again, I believe this concept, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Anybody here agree with that? Average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, right? So if you want to become the best, surround yourself with the best. That's what we do. So here's what I did is I took my daughter out to Boston last year because I thought she should surround herself with the best. So we went and looked at a bunch of universities, and as opposed to staying in London and being around people where she's the smartest, now she's not the smartest. And she's making amazing, amazing progress. Same with me. I went to MIT from San Diego. I got there. I was definitely not the smartest person there. It was crazy. There's crazy smart people there. But it forced me to step my game up and to become better. And so I believe that's what we're all here to do. And that's why we have members like this in the investment club. This is Marianne. She's a 35-year veteran on some of the greatest firms on Wall Street. She was like chief information officer of Merrill Lynch, Bank of America. She's a member of our investment club. She knows what the Federal Reserve is going to do before they do it. She understands inflation, yield curve, stock, bonds, you name it. She understands it. And she's on our calls and she's constantly telling us what's happening in the stock markets and the bond markets, everything. These are the kind of people you get to hang out in our investment club. And we're so happy to have her and 60 other people in there. We've also got Andrew Haynes. He's our metaverse expert. This is the mansion he built in the sandbox. This is his NFT gallery. Andrew's in there. He understands all of the metaverse protocols, all of the NFTs, all of the Web3 stuff. He also goes to one of the top universities in Switzerland, which is an executive training program, and some of the top AI experts as well. And again, he's always on call to help anybody in our club. And of course, we got Encore, who 16 months ago was in medicine, had nothing to do with this space. He took our crypto and DeFi accelerator. He joined Kings of DeFi. He was our founding member in Investment Club. And one time I said, hey, why don't you do 10 videos and put them on YouTube? He said, Brian, I don't like YouTube. I'm an introvert. I said, why don't you do it? And he did it. And he did it for 380 days in a row. And now he's got hundreds of thousands of views. He's our investment committee. He runs our investment committee. He regularly gets offered $100,000 in advisory tokens to advise on deals. And he turns them down because he sees that much flow. And so look, the way we teach is this. I believe in this Lao Stew thing, is that you can give a man a fish, you feed him for a day, you can teach him how to fish. So everybody in my program has to learn how to source deals, close deals. That way people aren't waiting for me to feed them fish. They bring the fish to the table. By the way, Encore brought us the Orange Comet deal. Is that clear for everybody? That guy, David Broom, that you saw in the chair, Encore brought us the deal. And guess what happens if you're in the investment club? You get a cut of the deal for bringing the deal. So everybody's in here making money. And if you source the deals, you get even more money. It's an amazing group we have. That's why no one leaves my group. Everybody's been in there and no one's going anywhere. They're probably going to be in there for life. So that's how we do this. And that's why I created the investment club. In 2021, December, I got a chance to invest in pre-sale tokens and cross the ages. I had studied finance at the Sloan School of Management, one of the best schools in the world. I worked on Wall Street in the city of London for 15 years, and I had never heard of any of this. It scared the hell out of me. And I thought, if it scares me, how are you going to ever learn this? So I thought, we're going to teach this. And I called up Martine. I said, Martine, we're going to do this investment club. And she's like, Brian, what are you, crazy? We're busy. I was like, we have to do this because no one is teaching this. To this day, no one's teaching this stuff, right? Why would they? They're just making the money themselves. So that's what we did. I created the investment club. It's an application-only process. We open up 10 spaces every quarter. It's 6 modules, it's 3 months of coursework, and then it's 12 months, but it's been lifetime so far because everybody stays. Weekly live Zoom calls, there's a CEO on every single call. We have a private Telegram group, private Discord group. You get access to all the deal flow, and you get a bonus, Kings of DeFi, which is my advanced crypto course, a full year of that just as a bonus. First live call is next Thursday at 7:15 p.m. And this is what we do. I'm constantly teaching people all over the world. We got a group of 63, 64 people now in about 25 countries. They're amazing. I do real-time learning. So I teach these modules as the market develops and as things change. So we're constantly flexible and nimble, and we can adjust to every situation out there. I also change the colors that I wear. Do you like that, Sandra? John, you feeling me? Any favorites? Put it in the chat if you got any favorites. So yeah, we do this. I'm there for every single call. We don't take holidays here. We're always there. These are the modules. Module 1 is, what is the blockchain investment? Module 2, what is a safe or a SAF? By the way, raise your hand if you know what a SAF is. Has anyone ever heard of that before? That's a shame, because that's how you invest in a pre-sale token. It's called the sale agreement for future tokens. I'll show you a copy of one. It's a legal contract that looks a little scary, but that's why we're here. We're here to explain these things to you so they're not scary. Module 3 is Deal Flow Part 1. I teach you the 5 T's of how you evaluate deals. Deal Flow Part 2, I teach you how to go out and get the deals, how to go to a conference, how to attend a conference, how to exchange details, how to follow up on a deal. Module 5 is how you nurture those early stage investments. And Module 6 is how you get the money out. How do you get the cash out and keep investing so we can create generational wealth in a few years? That's what we're looking to do. This is our Telegram group. This is our Discord group. And here are the details, folks. Our first live call is next week. We've got 7 people that have already confirmed. We got 1 on hold. There are 2 spaces left. We are oversubscribed as usual. The investment to be involved with this knowledge at this point for the rest of your life is a $50,000 investment. This is going to double next time to 100,000 because 5 of our members on the last one said, Brian, you should be charging double for this. And I thought, you're right, we should. So we are. Look, I know it's a significant investment, but it's a significant return. And like I said, I don't know what's going to happen in 2 years. So now is the time to do this. And you can take part of the greatest wealth creation event in human history. Also, our special opportunity, the Zarka, is ending soon. By the way, this was my special investment opportunity I had 3 months ago for our last opportunity. This is a SAF agreement, by the way, that I redacted out. This is what you would sign if you were going to get pre-sale tokens. By the way, we did this deal, and 24 hours later, this is what happened. The token was up 466%. Everybody made a 5x investment, a return on their investment, made $300,000 in 1 day. That's what happened with this token. So we have a track record of picking deals. This wasn't even a big deal. We did this because we were bored. We didn't have anything to do that week. So I was like, guys, this isn't going to be a massive one, but do you want to make a little money? They're like, yeah. How many people wouldn't mind making 5x return in 1 day? Anybody here? It's better than a sharp stick in the eye, right? Come on. It'll pay the electric bill, but this is what we do. We're good at this. And this is one of my students, Jens, and he hit me up and said, Brian, I insist that I send you this video. So Jens just recorded this about 2 minutes long. And like, this is what Jens just had to say. He's one of our founding members. And I just wanted you to listen to what he says, just because he's got a really interesting way of looking at it. And like he says, he's German. And so he's got a way of putting things. And, you know, Jens is always the guy that is like trying to tell us kind of what's happening in the future and why to do this. On the Orange Comet deal, he put out a video and told everybody that this was the next PayPal. And that's what he talks about. So here's Jens.
Why should you join the investment club? And the next obvious question is, can I afford to join the investment club? My name is Jens Krautscheid, and I am an active investor in stocks and companies since age 14. And risking of stating the obvious, I'm German. Also, I am one of the founding members of the investment club. And I consider my decision to join the investment club as one of the best investment decisions I ever made and I ever will make. Why? We all had this pub talk, this talk at the dinner table where we complained about our hustle we have to do daily. We complained on the workload we have, and we try to top up each other who has more stress, who is more hustling. And then sooner or later someone says, well, if I would have been an early stage investor in PayPal, I would be so rich. Or if I would have been an early stage investor in Microsoft, I would be so rich. And this is nice. This is really nice. But let's be honest. If you would have had the chance back then, 1992, to invest in PayPal, would you have pulled the trigger? Would you have invested? Quite likely you wouldn't have, because you couldn't assess the situation. You couldn't value the situation enough. In the investment club, we get these offers on a daily basis. We get the next PayPals on our table. And then we have a team of 50 people, 60 people, of a growing community of people who will do these assessments. And they will say, do this, buy this, this is the way. And then we buy this. And the next question is, can you afford to join the investment club? And the question really should be, can you afford not to join the investment club? Times are getting tougher. AI is taking over. And in what company you want to invest? In which AI company do you want to invest? Do you want to invest in the ones who do the fridges? Or do you want to invest in an early stage Coca-Cola who uses the fridges? It's up to your decision. I tell you now, invest in the investment club and be part of our fabulous, wonderful group. My name is Jens Krautscheid, and I wish you the best decisions of them all.
Booyah, there's Jens. Nice guy, right? We have good people in the investment club. They're amazing. It's a really positive group of people that just want everybody to win. We're super competitive when it comes to getting everybody the best deals. But again, we do it all together and everybody always wants everybody to win. So it's kind of a beautiful thing. Look, I just want to finish up with a couple final points. I'd love to get questions from anybody here about anything. Again, something Marianne said on our first call when I first opened the program. She's our Wall Street expert. She said, Brian, it only takes one. And I said, what do you mean, Marianne? And she said, I know people that have done this with Uber, with Google, with Facebook. It takes one. One changes your life. And so I would say if you don't have an early stage investment or pre-sale token in your portfolio, then you don't have a portfolio, is what I would say. Again, these are high risk but high reward. And so you want a small percentage in something like this, especially the right thing, and it can be a game changer for you, for your children, for your grandchildren, for a generation. So my final thoughts are, don't let 2023 pass you by. Learn early stage investing now. It won't be here forever. Liquid tokens and equity have limited gains. You want to learn from active investors, okay? I'm not talking about this. I'm not doing a podcast about this. I'm doing this. Like, we have a track record of putting real capital to work with real success. It's a significant investment, I know, but it's a massive ROI at a time when I don't know what's going to happen after 2025. So this is your chance to invest in a technology that will change the game. Now, look, about a month ago, Martina came to me and said, Brian, we got to have a payment plan. I said, no. And she said, Brian, let's do this because we're missing good people and you want good people. And I was like, I do want good people. So for $10,000 a month for 5 months, you can get in. So that means you can get in on the Zarka deal with just $10,000 to get in. That's for the course. And then you have to invest on top of that. So we open that up. Might close that down, but right now it's open. And that's for the best deal flow in the world. So again, look, this isn't for everyone. I know it. But if you really want to be a part of something special and you see we're at a pivotal point in history where AI is going to take over the world and change everything, and you could potentially invest in AI with an asymmetric return because it's early stage. I mean, it's the perfect storm. It really is. If you don't take action here, I mean, I don't have much sympathy for you because this is the perfect opportunity if there ever was one. It really is. And I believe it could be one of the last opportunities. Somebody asked me, well, what's the next AI deal we're going to invest in? I'm like, there might not be one more. This might be it. So that's why we're going in on that. And we're huge fans of what they're doing there. So that's what I would say, folks. Just want to say that if you want to be successful going forward in any way, make sure you invest in your education, your mentorship, and your community. And that's pretty much what we do here inside London Real and inside our academy. And so that's it. Just wanted to stop there. Did everybody get something good out of that? I hope. Did you learn something about this crazy space? You know, I'm telling you, I'm learning exponentially. I always have something new about the singularity and about AI. I just spent 2 hours with Mo Gaudet, which is amazing. Go watch that later. I want to answer any questions right now. There's some great ones coming in, but I also want to just get Martini to come on here and just give you next action steps for anybody who's curious to take things to the next level. By the way, Martini, she approved everybody for our investment club. She's the gatekeeper, and she's the one that really manages what goes on there. She also invests with us inside the investment club. So Martini, just curious if you have any thoughts as far as anybody here, if they want to take the next step.
Yes, absolutely. Well, it was great to have everybody here, and thank you for choosing to spend some time with us on your Fridays here. So one thing that I definitely take a look at is that we are living in the greatest dislocation of wealth in human history. And now is a time for you guys to be a part of a community of people who are building wealth during this time. So we are opening up the investment club to about 2 members because we do have some spaces on hold and those that have already filled. So what I'm going to have you guys do is, if you guys are serious about joining us in the investment club, I only want to talk to people who are serious. So if you're just playing house or playing busy or playing wealth, I don't want to talk to you. I want to talk to people who are ready to pull the trigger and are taking their financial future seriously. So I went ahead and put a link for the investment club information inside of the chat here. So before you book a call with me, please be sure to take a look at the investment club page and really take a look at what we're offering and be ready with some very thought out questions for our call. Okay, so the next step would be to go ahead and book your call with me. As you book the call, please pay attention to the AM or the PM, that is on that's on the Acuity. That's what we use to do the booking. So please pay attention to the AM PM, and also just know that the booking is actually going to be in your time zone. Okay, so don't try to calculate if we're in London or Vegas or wherever. It's going to be in your time zone. If you do not see a time that's available, because I know that we are stretched out from all over the world, you do have an option to go ahead and send me a message on Facebook. Go ahead and let me know to say hello, where you're from and what time zone you're in and what is a more ideal time to connect with you. So I will do my best to go ahead and move my schedule around just to make sure that I can accommodate. So guys, you know, this is an opportunity of a lifetime, and historically only the wealthy have had opportunities like this. And so for Brian to open up this opportunity and, you know, attract people from all over the world who are wanting to build wealth is truly invaluable. So definitely take advantage of the opportunity. Go ahead and connect with me, and we can't wait to see you on the inside. Back to you, Brian.
Thank you, Martini. Give it up for Martini. She's our director of operations here and makes everything happen. And like I said, you got to get through her if you want to get through the club. So only if you're serious, book a call with her. She's super busy. She's working 24/7 because we're always oversubscribed. And again, you need to convince her that you're the right fit for us. But look, it's really the opportunity of a lifetime. And so look, I'm looking through some of the messages here. I really appreciate that. It's interesting because Elisa's talking about, this is like the movie 2001 Space Odyssey. I've been watching Terminator and Terminator 2, and like it's a little bit too crazy with Skynet and all that as far as what could be happening. So yeah, I mean, this is something humans have dreamed about for the last 100,000 years, to create something that could rival us. And guess what? We've done it. So it's already done. There's no way you can back this up. It's going to happen, whether it's 1 year, 2 year, 5 year, 50 year, it doesn't matter. It's going to happen. And so now it's about how we deal with that new reality and how we bring it in, how we raise it as a child in some way, shape, or form. So I appreciate that. A bunch of other people chiming in and saying thank you and looking to invest. They really like Janet. They really liked Ben. Somebody said they saw the original Ben Gertzel interview here back when it originally aired. That was Ian. So that's really cool that you've been following us for that long. And a bunch of people are really curious about what goes on here. So like I said, make sure you're plugged into this space. Make sure you're learning. Book a call with Martini if you're serious about joining. In the meantime, learn as much as you can about AI because it's happening, it's moving. There's no way to bury the head in the sand. Watch my interview with Mo Gaudat. I just did. It's probably live on the website now. And he'll really give you some interest as far as what to start thinking about, because this is actually happening. So there you go, folks. Just want to say thank you so much for giving me your time on a Friday. Really appreciate it. And I hope you have a wonderful weekend. And I look forward to seeing you on Thursday for the live call. All right. Lots of love, everybody. Take care. Don't let the machines get you. Bye.